I had a intro for this video. I'm not going to do it because it would put me in a situation that would embarrass me. So, hello there, how are you? Today was, this week, already messing up my intro, that's great. This week was the Grammys week. I'm assuming you didn't watch it because the ratings were terrible, so I will recap it for you. Now, I'm not a fan of pop music, but I'll try to recap it the best I can here. Before we talk about the Grammy event itself, we need to talk about some of the things surrounding the event. Many artists, like Nicki Minaj, I believe, was one of them, and then the person who made a very famous song, Blinding Lights, I'm not really sure of his name. It's escaping me at this point. They had began to boycott the Grammys because, especially the Blinding Lights guys, has the Blinding Lights album and single is like one of the most popular songs of the year. So he began to protest against the Grammys. So, that's really anything that was surrounding it. Let's talk about the actual Grammys itself. Like you probably didn't watch it. I also did not watch the Grammys either. I've never watched any Grammys or Oscars or any of these big events, and I'll explain why towards the later end of this video. However, I do know what happened there. I think one of the most notable things that happened in this event is that Taylor Swift has won the third Grammy of Album of the Year. It's the third time she's won that Grammy. Now, I don't think that Taylor Swift is the first person to win 3 Album of the Year Grammys. I think actually Frank Sinatra. Nobody knows of him probably now. He worked with the Mafia a long time ago. I believe he won 3 album Grammys as well. But that was Taylor Swift stuff. Personally, I didn't really listen to her album. I'm not very much of an album person. Like, I'm not very much of a pop type of person. However, speaking of female empowerment, strong females, Beyonce, she came home with a whole bunch of awards. I'm not sure how many. all you really need to know is that I believe she is the most Grammy award winning of all time. She holds the most Grammys out of anyone ever, essentially. I mean, I just completely forgot she made music. I thought she stopped like 10 years ago. All the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, put your hands up. Copyright strike. That was Beyonce's news. And, that was really it. There was really no other Grammy news that came from this very calm week. The very easy going week here. There was no outrage, there was no certain artists were being sort of taken out of the spotlight. There was certainly no anger from any fans whatsoever. Nothing of the sort. There was certainly no armies who were upset. Everyone was happy-go-lucky here. Alright, this is what I'm going to talk about most of this video at this point. Essentially, every Grammy that happens, everyone will always complain that their favorite artist got snubbed, whether it be that they were not nominated for enough awards, or they weren't nominated at all, or they didn't win any of the awards they were nominated for. One of these groups of people, or one of these nominees, was BTS. Of course, the ultra-famous boy group. And of course, those who have stayed on the internet for, I would say, 5 seconds would understand that some of their fan base, their army, aren't the most nice people. How can I put this lightly? BTS lost the award they were nominated for. I believe they were nominated for Best Pop Duo / Group, and they lost to Ariana Grande and Lady Gaga, both really pioneers of the pop industry. Lady Gaga being one of the best performers of all time, and Ariana being one of the best artists currently. this award, Army went ballistic, essentially. They went full on DEFCON. They went scorched earth here. They said if BTS doesn't get this award, nobody deserves an award here. To be honest, usually I like to think that I can predict a lot of things. This one sort of came out of left field. I definitely accepted the possibility of BTS not winning this award, since the Grammys have not treated BTS too kindly in the past. However, it sort of was surprising even for me, of my grand intellect, my intellectual prowess. Even I could have not have predicted this. Though, I did predict that if they did lose, Army would freak out. There's no, specific tweets I would like to show, or specific things. Yeah, but they all echo the same thing, that they thought that BTS got sort of copped out of this one again. This is very interesting. It's almost as if Grammy does this on purpose. Grammys are doing to armies, they're slowly feeding them. Oh, Lil Nas is performing with BTS. Oh, come watch the Grammys. Oh, next year, they're nominated for an award. They're performing. Oh, everything's looking up. But they don't win the award next year. Except there won't be a next year because I believe Jin is going to military service by next year. Mandatory from Korea. But maybe when they come back, they finally win their award. They're sort of dragging armies along on a little stick, constantly taunting them with the prospects of BTS slowly getting there to win that award. In fact, I would make a parallel to the Grammys to most mainstream media sources here. It seems like a lot of media sources like to string BTS and string their fans along because they know their fans. There are a lot of them and they are very passionate, let's say. And so, they have them on the talk show, they have them on the interview without really understanding sort of how they work or how they operate, and sometimes can just be disrespectful. Now, I am a fan of BTS, and when BTS gets snubbed like this or gets sort of excluded like this, I'm not overtly angry. Understand that sort of Army have been really looking forward to this moment, and I know it's been one of BTS's big goals to get their Grammy here. So I understand why some of these people, BTS and their Army, have sort of been angered by this. However, there was a certain point where you need to realize that none of this matters, and now we will enter into part 2 of this video, where instead of talking about the stupid news of the Grammys, I'm going to explain why the Grammys are really stupid in itself, and why this Grammy format is really, really dumb. this has happened, but somehow the Grammys has become the sort of end all be all of artists in the music industry. I dislike this. First of all, the Grammys have really no weight to the artist itself. The Grammys does not look at how popular each song is or how much they've sold. This is what the guy who made Blinding Lights pointed out. Sort of, that he has a super popular song. Nobody cares about BTS as a super popular song that they were nominated for. Doesn't win. The Grammys are simply based on a bunch of people sitting in their stupid circular table talking about which one should win. It does not bring any validation to the artist. And I think it's quite an outdated style of show. So I don't think this should be the end-all be-all award for artists. Second of all, it seems like there are clear biases towards certain artists than others. For example, Beyonce and Taylor Swift. These artists get a lot of awards and sort of leave some of these other artists who may feel unrepresented in sort of the Grammy award scene, sort of underappreciated. So there are clear biases to this sort of round table that they have formulated for themselves. So then you have to ask, okay, well, what is a good award show then? Well, we can look at fan-voted award shows. Well, maybe fans should vote who should win. Though I would also argue that this is also a pretty bad format for award shows. Look at any K-pop award show. A lot of them are fan-voted, or at least a portion of them are fan-voted. And who do you see constantly win the fan-voted award shows? BTS, because BTS has the biggest fan base and they'll always, spam vote for BTS. So this leads to a very sort of boring award show, to the point where entire studio labels of K-pop sort of just back out because they know that BTS is going to win every award. What's the point of paying money for idols to show up there in the first place? So it leads to a very boring award show of just reading off a list of awards that BTS has sort of won, and then the few categories where they physically cannot win, like best rookie group or best solo artist, where they can't physically win. So that is also not going to work. functions the same as fan votes because, of course, those with the most fans will buy the most albums. This also shows in K-pop award shows, as BTS, being the most popular boy group, will win every award based on album sales, which would parallel in real life with things like Ariana Grande, and let's say Lady Gaga, and Taylor Swift. I believe Taylor Swift being one of the only artists this last year to sell over 1 million copies. So that also doesn't really work. You'd only put against the uber popular people and have these smaller creators sort of feel stuck in the water, like Harry Styles. Harry Styles is one that gets constantly snubbed, that don't outsell Taylor Swift. So these are sort of the same issues we are facing with award shows. So, for me, it seems like this award show formula doesn't really work in most case scenarios, which is why I think that this whole award show thing is across the board kind of stupid, with the Grammys and the Oscars being the most stupid out of all of them. I don't think awards, or the number of awards an artist receives, should sort of show the accomplishments they have. I think it would be much better if sort of the artist just looks around at what they have, or the fans they have managed to conjure up, and sort of that be able to define what type of artist they are, instead of relying on these awards and using these awards as sort of a benchmark for these different artists. Award shows will never go away because we want to see people give awards for some reason. I've never really been one to like these sort of awards. Just some of the categories they have, like Album of the Year. What does that mean exactly? Album of the Year. Does it mean that's the best album of the year? Does that mean the most well-received album? Because none of those things are true, because it's not from the public, and it's obviously not true by an individual basis, because I don't think personally Taylor Swift's album was the best album of the year, just like how someone watching this may think that it is album of the year, because it's completely personal. So that is where I think these award shows sort of fail a little bit. However, there's one more smaller piece of news I want to talk about relating to the Grammys. Not as big, but sort of kind of funny. This has to do with comedian Bill Burr. For those of you who somehow don't know Bill Burr, he is a comedian who likes to make fun of different groups. He will make fun of all different groups. Black, white, male, female, Asian people. There's really nothing off limits for Bill Burr. He's one of those controversial comedians. I don't really think he's that controversial, since a lot of things he says are a little bit sarcastic. Now, he was announcing some of the awards for the show, and he was mostly announcing the Latino awards. And in one of these sort of announcements, he had made the joke of something along the lines of, "I wonder what the feminists will say. Why is this white male, with his white male privilege, announcing all these Latino awards?" Sort of as a funny poke at how a lot of people think about these sort of, I don't know. Point is, a lot of people got offended by it. And Bill Burr is just one of those people who cannot be cancelled. To be fair, no celebrity can really be cancelled at this point, since the meaning of cancel culture really has been lowered to a point where nothing matters anymore. So no celebrity can really be cancelled, but Bill Burr especially can never be cancelled. He's just one of those people. He's like a cockroach. He can just persist on and on. And so, for the most part, the tweets were about how Bill Burr can't be cancelled, and oh, people love canceling Bill Burr, but they can't. So the people who are canceling Bill Burr were accusing him of the basic stuff: racist, homophobic, all those terms. Mostly just racist, though, because of the Latino thing, And then someone decided to post a picture of Bill Burr and his wife. Most cases, most rational human beings see this and think, okay, I don't think a racist would marry an African American. One person on Twitter did not think that, though. One person made a terrible tweet, probably the worst tweet I've ever seen from anyone ever. Such a horrible take. I don't remember what it was about. I'll probably have to flash it on screen here. Something about how Nia was a sex slave to Bill, which is just completely false. In fact, Nia actually responded to it and said, "Shut the F up, you B-word." And then this guy, he backpedals a lot on Twitter because he's getting a lot of blowback. Doesn't delete the tweet, interestingly enough. To Nia directly, that's her name by the way, Nia, directly calling him out. Bill has a podcast where a frequent guest on his podcast is his wife, and you can just search up Bill Burr and Nia podcast and you will find talking to each other, and she doesn't give the vibe that this guy is tweeting about, this subservient, sort of self-doubting black person. She doesn't give the vibe. In fact, she gives quite the opposite vibe. She's a very powerful person. Let's just say, I don't know what the direct word to be used there. So it's really bad taken. He got slaughtered all over the place. That sort of concludes the Grammys. A lot of people were looking at the ratings of the Grammys, and it seemed like no one was watching it. Some people would like to attribute this to the fact that the Grammys have been like putting progressive ideals onto people. You know, the whole go woke, get broke or something. That saying. What a stupid saying, by the way. I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just that people are beginning to realize that the Grammys are full of horse shit, and they really make bad decisions when giving these people the Grammy. But that is it for me. 63rd Grammys. I couldn't care less. I don't really care. It would have been cool if BTS got the award, but whatever. I found it really funny about Bill Burr. I will see you next time. I love you enough to give you a award for simply being yourself. I know, shocking. I will see you next time. Bye.